U.S. green card system. Just changed. Millions could be affected. Imagine spending years building your life in America, only to suddenly be told you may have to leave the country just to get your green card approved. For millions of immigrants, that fear just became very real. The U.S. government has announced a dramatic immigration policy shift that could completely reshape how green cards are processed for foreign nationals already living in America. And if you are an H-1B worker, international student, spouse of a U.S. citizen, or someone planning to immigrate in the future, this update could directly affect you. So make sure to watch this video until the end, because the details are extremely important. And before we continue, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss major immigration updates like this. On May 22nd, 2026, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, also known as USCIS, released a major new policy memorandum that fundamentally changes how many immigrants must apply for permanent residency in the United States. For decades, many foreign nationals already living legally inside the U.S., including H-1B tech workers, international students, and spouses of U.S. citizens, could apply for a green card without leaving the country through a process called adjustment of status. That process allowed immigrants to stay in America while their green card applications were reviewed. But under this new policy, that pathway is now being heavily restricted. The major change. The administration is now describing adjustment of status as an extraordinary form of relief rather than a normal immigration pathway. In simple terms, USCIS is saying that staying inside the U.S. while applying for a green card should become the exception, not the standard process. So what does this mean? Most foreign nationals currently living in the U.S. on temporary visas, including H-1B work, visas, F-1 student visas, tourist visas, exchange visitor visas, and other temporary visa categories may now be required to leave the United States and complete their green card applications through a U.S. embassy or consulate in their home country. This process is called consular processing. USCIS says officers will only approve adjustment of status inside the U.S. under extraordinary circumstances, reviewed strictly on a case-by-case basis. According to the Department of Homeland Security, the purpose of this policy is to restore what it calls the original intent of temporary visas. The government argues that temporary visas were designed for short-term stays, not as direct pathways to permanent residency. But critics warn this policy could create major disruption for immigrants who have already built careers, families, and businesses in the United States. Why this matters so much? This is not just a small immigration update. This policy affects a system that has existed for nearly 60 years. For decades, adjustment of status gave immigrants stability while waiting for permanent residency decisions. People could continue working, studying, and raising families inside the U.S. without suddenly being forced to leave the country. Now, many may face uncertainty about their future. And because immigration backlogs are already severe for certain countries, the consequences could be especially serious for applicants from India and Pakistan. Impact on Indian nationals are expected to be among the hardest hit. India already faces one of the world's largest employment-based green card backlogs. Hundreds of thousands of Indian professionals currently work in the United States on H-1B visas while waiting years, and sometimes decades, for green card priority dates to become current. Under the old system, once their date became available, they could apply for adjustment of status from within the U.S. while continuing their jobs and daily lives. Now, many may have to leave the United States, return to India, attend embassy interviews, wait abroad for approvals, and face uncertainty before returning to America. This creates serious concerns for workers and families. Some may fear job interruptions. Others worry about temporary family separation or unexpected visa delays. There's another major issue too. U.S. consulates in India, including New Delhi and Mumbai, already face long visa processing times. Immigration experts warn this policy could create even bigger backlogs and much longer delays. Impact on Pakistani immigrants could also face major challenges under the new rules. Professionals, students, and mixed-status families may all experience increased difficulties. For example, Pakistani nationals married to U.S. citizens who are currently living in America on temporary visas may now be required to return to Pakistan while their immigrant visa applications are processed. That could temporarily separate families for months. The policy memo also tells immigration officers to place stronger emphasis on negative factors during case reviews. This includes past technical immigration violations, minor paperwork inconsistencies, unauthorized employment, previous visa overstays. Even small mistakes that may have been overlooked in the past could now face stricter scrutiny. Impact on international students. International students may also face a very different future. For years, many students viewed studying in America as the first step toward long-term career opportunities in the United States. Programs like OPT, Optional Practical Training, allowed graduates to gain work experience and eventually transition into employment-based green card pathways. But the administration is now making its position very clear. Student visas are intended for education, not permanent immigration. That could make the path from student visa to green card far more difficult in the future. Economic and personal costs. The impact of this policy goes beyond immigration paperwork. Forcing applicants to leave the United States could create major financial and emotional pressure. Some people may need to pause careers, leave homes behind, spend money on international travel, disrupt their children's education, or risk being stranded abroad if problems arise during processing. Business groups are also concerned because many American companies depend heavily on skilled foreign workers. Employers fear increased uncertainty could make it harder to attract international talent. What happens next? Right now, one major question remains unanswered. What will happen to green card applications already pending inside the United States? USCIS has not yet fully clarified how pending cases will be handled. Legal experts also expect immigration attorneys, advocacy organizations, universities, and business groups to challenge this policy in federal court very soon. So this situation could still change in the coming weeks or months. Final thoughts. No matter what happens next, one thing is clear. This is one of the biggest immigration policy shifts the United States has seen in decades, and its effects could impact millions of immigrants around the world, especially workers, students, and families from India, Pakistan, and other countries with large immigrant populations in America. The situation is still developing, and more updates are expected soon. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this update with friends or family who may be affected.